All right, welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We've got a good one for you today.
Yeah, this should be fun.
We are diving deep into a story that I think everybody kind of knows, but we're going to go deeper, I think, than a lot of people have gone before.
I think so. I learned a lot researching this one.
Yeah.
A lot of things that I hadn't put together before.
So we're talking about Tyson versus Douglas.
Yeah.
The upset.
The upset of the century, February 11th, 1990, Tokyo, Japan, Iron. Mike Tyson, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, goes up against James Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas, I believe his record was 42-1 going into this fight.
Right. Not a lot of people giving him a chance.
Nobody gave him a chance. I mean, the odds were ridiculous, like 42-1 odds, insane. Everybody thought that Mike Tyson was going to knock him out in the first couple of rounds and just total destruction.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was this unstoppable force at the time.
And what we're going to do is we've got these great sources that break this fight down. And we're going to kind of go through them, pick out some of the most interesting elements of the fight.
Yep.
And kind of give you, the listener, some takeaways. You know what I mean? Like some real, aha moments. Because this goes so much deeper than just boxing. This is a story about defying expectations and achieving the impossible. Like literally achieving the impossible. Nobody thought he could do it, and he pulled it off.
Right.
So one of the first things that really jumps out at me is reading through these sources is that even before the fight happened, there were signs that, things might not go the way everyone expected.
Right.
Buster Douglas had an air of confidence. Like he genuinely, it seems, believed that he could win this fight.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that as well?
Definitely, yeah. And a lot of the pre-fight interviews with him, he was just completely calm and collected. He seemed very self-assured. And I think that really did play a role in how the fight played out.
I think so, too.
Because that confidence just radiated out of him.
Yeah. And, I've heard some people say like, oh, that was all just a show. But you can kind of tell, like you said, when you look at the interviews and stuff, like the guy seemed to genuinely have this deep belief that he could win.
Yeah.
And then the first bell rings. And one of the things the sources all point out is that right away he starts landing these really effective punches.
Yeah.
Like from the very beginning, like round one. Were you surprised at how he was just right there, like toe to toe with Mike Tyson?
I mean, it's Mike Tyson. He was known for these incredibly fast knockouts.
They're just round knockouts.
Yeah. I mean, he would just destroy people.
It's almost like he wanted to get it over with quickly.
Yeah. And, a lot of people were expecting, like you said, first couple of rounds and it would be over.
Right.
But Douglas just came out and he wasn't afraid. He wasn't just defending. He was actually going after Tyson.
Yes.
And I think that caught Tyson off guard.
Totally.
Okay.
I think it totally caught him off guard. And one of the things that was pointed out in one of the sources that I thought was really interesting was that Tyson, he seemed to be less aggressive in this fight.
Yeah.
Than in previous fights.
Yeah.
Like he was missing punches. He seemed kind of, I don't know, hesitant. Like something was, I don't know what it was. Something was off. Was he just having a bad night? Or was there something about what Douglas was doing that was throwing him off? What do you think?
It's probably a combination of things, right? Yeah. Every fighter has their off nights. And I think maybe Tyson wasn't feeling 100%. But I also think it's impossible to ignore the way that Douglas prepared for that fight.
Right.
He trained specifically to go the distance with Tyson. And it's not something that a lot of Tyson's previous opponents did. They thought, okay, I've got to go in there and I've got to try to knock him out quick.
Right, before he knocks me out.
Right. And I think they played right into Tyson's hands because he wanted to get it over with quickly as well. But Douglas, he knew he had to be ready to go 12 rounds if necessary. And that just takes an insane amount of not only physical preparation, but mental preparation too, right? To know that you're going to go in there and that it's not going to be over quick.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge takeaway for everybody, right?
Huge.
It's not always about going for the knockout. Sometimes it's about being ready to go the distance, to withstand, whatever comes your way.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
And I think that's where, a lot of people fall down.
Yeah.
They don't prepare themselves mentally. They can get themselves ready, in shape or whatever it is. But if you're not mentally prepared for the long haul, you're going to break.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, we're going through the fight, right? And you can tell that Douglas is definitely holding his own.
Right.
He's not, he's not dominating, but he's definitely in the fight, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to the 8th round.
Oh, yeah.
And the sources describe this moment where the arena just went silent. because Douglas lands this just picture perfect, right on the button, right on Tyson's jaw, and Tyson goes down. I mean, did you get chills reading about that part?
I mean, it was the first time that anyone had ever seen that. Like Mike Tyson go down.
Never. I mean, he was invincible.
He was this force of nature.
Right.
And to see him on the canvas, I mean, that must have been just a complete shock to everybody watching.
Yeah, like the world stopped spinning for a second. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah, it was a turning point. And not only in the fight, but I think in Tyson's career as well.
So, obviously a knockdown's a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think that did psychologically to both fighters?
Well, for Tyson, it definitely, like I said, shattered that aura of invincibility. It showed that he was human, that he could be hurt. And I think for Douglas, it was just this huge validation of his strategy, his training, his belief in himself.
Totally. Like, finally, all this work that I've put in, it's paying off. And it's paying off at the biggest moment possible. It's amazing.
And what's interesting is that Douglas was actually older than Tyson at this point.
Right? I think he was 30.
30 years old. And everyone was saying that, Tyson's youth, his power was just going to be too much for Douglas to handle.
Yeah, that's the narrative.
Right. But it was actually Douglas's experience, the fact that he had been in the ring for so many years and he had faced adversity before. That's what allowed him to capitalize on that opening. He was able to weather the storm. He got knocked down himself earlier in the fight, but he got back up. And then when he had the opportunity to put Tyson down, he took it. And I think that speaks to, it's not always about just raw talent, right? Yeah. Experience matters. Knowing how to adapt, how to evolve, how to stay calm under pressure, that's all part of experience. And that's what made the difference in this fight.
Absolutely. Like, it's one thing to have, raw power, raw ability. But if you don't know how to use it, if you don't have the experience to, like you said, weather the storm, to come back from adversity, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So, and then, the fight goes on, and of course, everybody knows the ending, right? Douglas wins.
Yeah.
In the 10th round.
Yeah.
By knockout. I mean, what a story. And to me, the thing that is just the most incredible part about it is, like, nobody gave this guy a chance. Literally nobody. I mean, he was written off.
Yeah. And
he pulls off one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, maybe the biggest. It's a testament to, like, the power of, I mean, what is it? Like, it's belief, it's determination, it's like all that stuff that makes underdogs into legends. I think, everybody can connect with that, right?
Absolutely. I think we all have those moments where we feel like the underdog, where we feel like the odds are stacked against us. But this fight just shows that anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
If you have the right mindset and you're willing to put in the work and never give up.
Right. And that's why I think this fight, it goes so much deeper than boxing, right?
Yeah.
It's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
It shows us that even when it seems like everything's against us, we can achieve incredible things.
Yeah.
If we just have that mental fortitude, the preparation, the willingness to defy expectations. So think about it. Have you ever underestimated an opponent? What made you misjudge them?
Yeah. Think about an area of your life where you might feel like the underdog. What could you learn from Buster Douglas's approach? How can his story inspire you to defy the odds in your own life?
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See ya. Bye. Bye.